Alexander is dead, 32 years old, gone, rotting in Babylon, but the empire he carved is decomposing faster. Generals circle his deathbed like jackals, each eyeing a piece, each dreaming of a crown. Forget grief, this is a land grab. But one general, Ptolemy, sees not chaos, but opportunity. While others crave the whole pie, Ptolemy craves the sweetest slice. Egypt. Fertile land, natural borders, and Alexandria, a city Alexander built as a beacon. He understands a brutal truth. Power isn't about landmass, it's about resources, security, and legitimacy. So he concocts a plan audacious, almost sacrilegious. He steals Alexander's body, not for treasure, not for spite, but for absolute power. Imagine the funeral procession, the golden coffin, the grieving soldiers, when suddenly Ptolemy's army appears, spears glinting. The king rests in Egypt, he declares. This isn't grave robbery, it's political genius. In the ancient world, possession equals legitimacy. Ptolemy isn't just another conqueror, he's the guardian of Alexander's legacy. He builds a grand tomb in Alexandria. Now, every ruler, every diplomat, every ambitious soul must come to Egypt to pay respects, a political pilgrimage with Ptolemy as the gatekeeper. But Ptolemy is not a fool. He cannot simply impose Greek rule on Egyptians. He becomes both pharaoh and king. Egyptian robes, Greek tongue, worship of both gods. Alexandria becomes the new world, where cultures collide and fortunes are made. The great library, the lighthouse, merchants from across the known world seeking riches. 40 years, Ptolemy transforms Egypt from a province to an empire. He amasses wealth, builds a formidable army, and makes Alexandria the jewel of the Mediterranean. But a single problem plagues him: succession. Sons from different mothers, rivalries brewing. Civil war threatens to tear everything apart. He needs a solution, a way to consolidate power, to guarantee stability. He needs an idea that's genius, yet horrifying in its simplicity. He will marry within the family, ensure that the bloodline, and therefore the power, remains pure. A brilliant stroke or a fatal flaw. Time and blood will tell. 2 centuries before Cleopatra, Ptolemy II Philadelphus faces a dilemma. Already married to Arsinoe I, his alliance is meant to secure a military foothold, but she wields her own ambitions. Foreign influence threatens to dilute the dynasty's power. His sister, Arsinoe II, is a woman seasoned in power, having been a queen already. She is loyal only to Egypt. The choice is simple, if shocking. Divorce. Arsinoe I, marry Arsinoe II. It sounds perverse, but the results are undeniable. Arsinoe II isn't just a wife, she's a co-ruler. Her face adorns coins, she commands armies and influences diplomacy. A dual monarchy, unbreakable. No in-laws, no competing claims, just pure, concentrated power. Egypt flourishes. The economy booms, culture thrives, and the military dominates. Alexandria becomes the envy of the world. Upon her death, she is deified, temples built in her honor. Sibling marriage equals political stability, equals prosperity. It becomes the official creed of the Ptolemaic dynasty. But formulas can be deadly. Their success hides a dangerous truth. Future generations, blinded by results, will repeat the practice without the capabilities or the vision, like reshuffling a deck of cards. After 3 to 4 generations, the deck becomes limited, and bad cards become more likely to appear. In the short term, sibling marriage offers control, power, and insulation, but the long-term effects are already set in motion, a genetic time bomb. Ptolemaic Egypt loses touch with its people. The elite becomes an insular, foreign presence, not the divine rulers of old. A new threat rises in the west. Rome expands, conquers, and grows strong, while Egypt stagnates. The Ptolemies are too busy with internal purity to notice the storm gathering on the horizon. There is an exception: Ptolemy III. Euergetes marries Berenice II of Cyrene, not a sister, not a cousin, an outsider with fresh blood. And Egypt explodes. The dynasty's greatest expansion, territory from Libya to Syria, naval dominance in the Mediterranean, a golden age of science and culture, and a rival to the rising Roman Republic. The conqueror's children are healthy, intelligent, and ambitious, proof that genetic diversity yields superior offspring. But tragically, lessons are drawn from failure, not success. Instead of seeing the benefits of outside marriage, the dynasty reverts to sibling marriage. Fear of losing control trumps the evidence of prosperity. Paranoia defeats pragmatism. Ptolemy IV Philopator, the weakling, marries his sister, Arsinoe III. And from that moment, everything begins to unravel. The couple lacks the charisma and strength of their forebears. Signs of inbreeding depression appear. Philopator neglects governance for pleasure and luxury. Arsinoe III remains passive, a mere producer of heirs. The outside world notices Egypt's weakness. Antiochus III of the Seleucid Empire seizes Egyptian territories. The Battle of Raphia, meant to be an easy victory, becomes a near disaster. Internal rebellions erupt as Egyptians see their rulers as weaklings. Philopator's response is to indulge in more luxury, isolate himself further, and to drink more. The practice meant to ensure stability now produces rulers too weak to maintain it. The genetic time bomb ticks louder. No one connects the dots. Instead, they blame external forces. Ptolemy V. Epiphanes ascends the throne at age 5. A 5-year-old rules the wealthiest empire of the world. Foreign forces continue to put pressure on Egypt. A regency council tries to hold things together, but one thing is clear. The Ptolemaic dynasty has gone over the tipping point. A decision is made. Ptolemy, the child king, is to marry Cleopatra I from the Seleucid Empire, an outside marriage once again. But the alliance has an interesting side effect. It brings in a new pattern, Roman interference. A man-woman rules. Roman merchants flood Alexandria's markets. Roman advisors fill the TMIC court. Roman legions protect the border. Roman interference slowly becomes indispensable. Egypt is now dependent on Roman assistance. Genetic weakening has made the dynasty vulnerable. The civil war between Cleopatra I and Ptolemy. Epiphanes turns into a Roman issue for control, all because someone made a simple mistake, marrying their sister. Now the story takes a new dark turn. One ruler, Ptolemy VIII Physcon, is the most dysfunctional of all. He marries his sister Cleopatra II. Standard practice. But then Cleopatra II gives birth to a daughter, Cleopatra III. This is where the story gets insane. Physcon divorces Cleopatra II and marries his niece, the daughter of his previous wife, Cleopatra III. The implications are shocking: incest and statutory rape. Cleopatra II does not accept replacement. She declares war on her own brother and daughter. The family dinner becomes a battlefield. Alexandria splits in factions, and the civil war goes on for decades. The streets ran with blood, the library burned, the economy collapsed. Even during the civil war, both sides continue sibling marriage. Family dysfunction is normalized. Romans see an opportunity. They realize they don't need to conquer Egypt. They just need to wait for the Ptolemaic dynasty to collapse. Cleopatra VII ascends the throne in 51 BCE. She is the product of 250 years of systematic inbreeding. Still, she learns Egyptian and breaks family patterns, acts decisively. Her actions show that genetics is not destiny. Her environment matters. Intelligence can overcome genetic disadvantages. But above all, she wanted the survival of her civilization. She transcends her personal limitations. Julius Caesar arrives in Alexandria in 48 BCE. She manipulates him for help to eliminate her brother. She forms an alliance to gain access to Roman technology and experience. This results in Caesarion, half Roman, the symbol of Rome and Egypt partnership. Caesar is assassinated. Cleopatra is forced to recalibrate and allies with Mark Antony. He also forms a Roman-Egyptian alliance, but then Octavian attacks. The Roman Battle of Actium comes, and she is forced to commit suicide on her own terms. August 30th, BCE, she dresses as Isis. Her other children are taken to Rome as hostages. Egypt becomes a Roman province. Cleopatra managed to rule for nearly 20 years. She knew 9 languages, commanded armies, and negotiated with sophistication. Genetics is not destiny. Environment matters. Intelligence can overcome genetic disadvantages. In the end, the lesson is learned. Diversity creates strength. Isolation leads to weakness, leads